Okay, so finally, we're here for the conversation on the subject Emotions 2021. And this is an initiative by Your Story is Important, which is a platform where, each of us has got a free space to, share their knowledge and also to, break the stigma attached to emotions and well-being where, we can speak our heart out. So today's conversation is on the subject Emotions 2021. And we have Miss Anita Joseph with us, who is a Dubai-based journalist, content strategist, and an author. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And I think we did try, doing this conversation yesterday on Instagram, but we couldn't really do it because of some issues. But I'm really glad that we're doing this today on Zoom, and the link would be pasted for everyone, and everybody would be able to hear our conversation later on. So thank you so much, Anita, for really struggling to do this conversation. And
No
I'm
worries,
really glad.
VARALIKA. I'm
Yeah, I'm
glad
really
we could
glad.
finally,
Right.
connect and, speak. So yeah, that's good
Yeah.
enough.
Yes, I think both of us are in a way, creating a cause to, break the stigma attached to, mental well-being, which of course involves emotions. And that is the topic of today. Like, the topic is Emotions 2021 because this year is about to end. And I'm sure, all of us went through a plethora of emotions and, different breakdowns. There were so many things that were happening. And we never expected that, a second wave would come again,
Yeah.
and, we would have to go through the pandemic all over again.
Mm.
So this was like the second year of the pandemic. So if I have to ask you, how do you feel now that the year is about to end? What are the emotions like?
Well, let me put it this way. It's been a mixed bag the whole year.
Right.
So many ups and downs and, personally, as well as, seeing other people suffer, seeing other people go through trauma and difficulties. And so it's been a mixed bag, more mixed than usual. I mean, because of the pandemic, a lot of things were unexpected. The second wave, and the number of deaths that happened. So many people that I personally knew and interacted
Yeah.
with every day were passed away. They're no longer with us. So
Yeah.
I mean, and the uncertainty, a lot of people falling ill and then critical, and then we're hoping and praying that they recover, and all those we were on tenterhooks actually, as far as
Absolutely.
emotions were concerned. So
Mm.
it's been more of a mixed bag. It's been good and bad, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that this year is coming to an end, because hopefully new year is a new beginning. I mean, all the time,
Right.
always. So
Right.
hopefully 2022 will be better for all of us, and our emotions will be in one place. We'll be able to think of, we'll be able to move forward or approach life in a more
Right.
balanced, calmer,
Right.
manner. So I'm
Right.
glad about that. I'm glad that the year's ending in a way. So
Right.
how has it been for
Also,
you? Has it been good, the year?
no, I think I would say the same thing, like you said, I think there were so many emotions, and there were times, when all of us were suffering so much that we ourselves couldn't understand as to, how to deal with emotions. But then also there were times, when we were seeing people helping each other. So that was a time, when we actually, all of us came together, in support of each other, trying to be there and, provide that kind of emotional support. So I think, yes, it was a mixed bag of emotions. Like you said, I also felt the same. And of course, this year is about to end. But at the same time, we're also hearing that there's a new variant. And,
Yes.
again, cases are rising. So things are still unpredictable. But yes, there is still hope. I mean, that's how I think we can progress in life, and, rather
Absolutely.
than being
Absolutely.
hopeless. But having said that, I would also like to say, I think the pandemic also, gave us a chance to, be by ourselves. Because what I
Absolutely.
felt was that before the pandemic, we all of us were, in some sort of race, like every day, going out, doing certain things, going for work, meeting friends, going here and there, and then
Yeah.
coming back home. I think there was this mechanical routine that was, happening every day. And I think we never got that space to just sit with ourselves and, to deal with our own emotions. So in a way, I think this pandemic actually, I think it imposed that kind of a scenario for ourselves, that, okay, look, you need to sit by yourself and, just confront yourself with your emotions, because I don't think any of us, we had that sort of atmosphere, or that kind of time and space to do that, I think, because all of us were, we were usually busy, I think. I think it
And
was,
you're
yeah,
right. It gave us a sense of perspective, the pandemic. We
right,
were able to focus on what was important. We were able to prioritize what's important in our lives. We were able to spend more time with family and,
yeah,
understand and sort of experience closer bonds. And, so
yes,
in a way, I mean, if I would look at it like this. I mean, I wouldn't say that the pandemic per se was a blessing, but I would say the lockdown was a blessing because it
yeah,
helped us to, like I said, prioritize what matters and
right,
cut
right,
out the faff and the fluff from
yes,
our
yes,
lives and
absolutely,
focus on what is really important. So in a sense, I'm glad, I think mankind needed to take a break and pause at some
yes,
point,
yes,
and
yes,
if this lockdown hadn't happened, we would have been crazier than ever, running around and not knowing where to
absolutely,
stop. And, so in a sense, I would say that, yes, it helped everyone to apply brakes, and
yes,
take stock. So
right. So I think this was a good thing that happened, but at the same time, we're also aware that for some people it was really difficult to survive in a lockdown, because maybe,
absolutely,
there
absolutely.
was a lot of toxicity at home, where, different emotions were coming from different
Oh
people,
yes, oh
where
yes.
people didn't get along well, and, where there was, say, for example, if domestic violence was happening, it was really difficult for women, in a way to
Absolutely.
help themselves, or maybe if, like where to go, because we were in lockdown. So if
Yes.
somebody is getting thrashed, where would they go? Whom would they call? Because everybody was in a lockdown. So we did witness, these kind of helpless situations also. So I think if we try to view emotions, from that perspective, I think it was really tough. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, like for a lot of people, see, everything is not smooth for everyone all the time. A lot of people
Yeah,
went through a lot of suffering during the pandemic, during the lockdown, especially as far as, domestic abuse and,
yeah.
emotional blackmailing and everything was
Yes.
concerned. A
Oh my
lot of
God.
people struggled
Yeah,
so much, especially women. They went through a
yeah,
lot of trauma. I know a lot of women who were praying that the lockdown would end and, they could just,
yeah,
just get out of the house or, yes, it's in that sense, it's been, traumatic for,
right.
a lot of people. I know a lot of people personally who have experienced a lot of trauma, and they're glad that the
Right.
lockdown has finally ended and that, you know, um, people they don't want with them are finally out of the house and, sort of,
Yeah,
so they're worried now that the Omicron variant is,
yes,
the rise and it's sort of threatening to send people back in.
yeah,
There a lot of people are worried about those things as well.
yes,
Um, I wish I could, document, these things because it's very serious. It's a very serious problem.
yes, it is
Emotional
absolutely.
abuse is as bad or even as serious as physical
Physical,
abuse. A
absolutely.
lot of people don't realize that. They think that, as long as it's not physical, it's
Yeah,
fine. It's
yeah,
okay. But emotional abuse is much more serious because emotional
yes,
abuse leaves scars. Physical scars will heal. I mean,
yeah,
you get treated for it, you take medicines for it, it heals. But emotional
hmm,
scars don't heal.
yes,
So it affects people indefinitely, for the long term.
yeah,
So this is something that no one has, taken seriously or we haven't
hmm,
addressed or we need to address. I'm hoping that 2022 is different in that sense that, there's more awareness about
right,
emotional health, emotional
yes,
well-being, emotional,
hmm,
you know, um, emotional stability, and especially where women are concerned, the need to,
right,
because women, after all, if you look at it, they're the pillars of a home. I mean, it's a woman
yeah,
who makes a home what it is. So if a
hmm,
woman is not emotionally stable, or if she's not
hmm,
allowed to function optimally, in an emotional sense, then where's the whole
hmm,
family going?
right, right,
So I'm just hoping that it turns out better for everyone in 2022.
Yes, I'm hoping the same. And I think these 2 years actually, it actually brought the whole, subject of mental health, at the forefront. Because even though mental health did exist before, but I think because of the lockdown and the pandemic, the cases of mental health issues started, coming to the surface even more, I feel. And I think like this initiative of your story is important. I think similarly
Mm.
there are many other platforms where people have started having conversations on mental health, emotional well-being. So like you said, emotional health is an important aspect of life, just like physical health. So I also feel, I think, because of the lockdown and the pandemic, we've started having these conversations about well-being. And like my mental health has been impacted. And
Mm.
like you said, we were inside our homes because of the lockdown, and especially women, they couldn't go out. So I think the whole concept of emotional well-being, mental health has, I feel, gained that sort of importance now. I feel even though it did exist, and we've evolved as a society, when we talk about mental health, but at the same time, I think there's a lot more that we need to do, at this front when it comes to mental well-being and emotional well-being. Because like you said, we don't take these things seriously, because I
And
think,
there's also I think in India, I think there's a stigma attached to, not just in India, a lot of countries,
yeah,
a stigma attached to mental health, so to say.
yeah,
So if you're feeling depressed, or if you're feeling down for some reason, and you want to seek help from a professional counselor, or somebody who's in the field, that's considered, if society comes to know about it, that's considered, oh, she has a mental problem, she's
yeah,
visiting a psychiatrist, or she's visiting a psychologist, or a
yeah,
counselor, she needs counseling, so that means she's not a
right,
mentally stable person,
yeah,
she's mentally off, that kind of stigma. And in fact, some places I know are so conservative that even if you're
mm,
seen coming out of a counselor's residence or place of work, or if you've gone to a psychologist or a psychiatrist who's known to be a psychiatrist, I mean, who's practicing as a psychiatrist, and if you're seen coming out of his or her home, even then, if people observe that, that is considered to be a stigma, because, oh, okay, so she keeps going to the home, so which means she needs counseling, she needs,
yeah,
so she's not emotionally stable. So
right,
people are scared,
yeah,
to go out and ask for help and say that, look, I'm depressed, I'm, emotionally, I'm all over the place, I need help, I need someone to, because emotional health, just like physical health, when you're physically unwell, you have a fever,
yeah,
or you're injured, or you, for whatever reason, you go to a doctor,
mm,
right, to have it fixed. You don't fix it yourself, you go to a doctor, and
yeah,
the doctor gives you medicines. Similarly, when you're mentally, when you're depressed, or when you're emotionally, all over the place, and you need a little, sort of guidance, or you need a little focus, you will
mm,
approach someone who knows better than you to, you know put you back in place. But that's considered a bad thing,
yeah,
everywhere. So because of that, a lot of people suffer in silence, and that goes from bad to worse then, the
mm,
depression goes from bad to worse, because you're suffering in silence, you can't tell anyone, because if word gets around, then it's a problem. So
right,
you can't do anything but suffer in silence. A lot of people do that. A lot of people I know are going through that right now, as we speak. A lot of people
yeah,
are going through that problem. So I
yeah,
think that, as part of awareness, or awareness about emotional well-being, I think there needs to be more conversations, or opening up
yes,
about the topic, and the awareness among people that it's not a bad thing to seek help.
right. This was my
Example,
next
I need
question
help.
to you. How do we
Mhm.
change this stigma? Like, how do we remove, how do we break this chain,
Break
So,
the I think
yeah,
more conversations around this,
mm,
more awareness campaigns about this, tell people that it's okay to seek help. If you seek help, that doesn't mean that you're retarded, or that you need, you're mentally off, or you're emotional. No,
right,
you're just seeking help. You need, for anything else, you seek help, right? Man is a social animal, you seek help for
yeah,
everything. You depend on another person for your livelihood. So similarly, when you're upset or you're depressed or you need help, you seek help. That's a natural thing to do. So, the
Absolutely.
awareness has to be there among people, and people like you and me can bring about that change, because we can tell our elders, we can tell our society, when somebody, if you hear, let's say, for example, somebody saying that, oh, so and so keeps going to the,
Mm.
psychiatrist, or they keep going to, a counselor. I
Yeah.
don't know what is wrong with her. She was fine. And I think she's,
Mm.
we can step in and say that,
Right.
look, that's not the right thing to say.
Mm.
That's she's seeking help because she needs help. That doesn't mean that she's a bad character or that she's mad, or, that whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you call it.
Mm.
But so youngsters, or the younger generation, can actually step in and make the difference, because the younger generation, I feel, I'm not criticizing the older generation, or I'm not,
Yeah.
putting a slur on them. That's the way things were at that time.
Yes.
Now,
Exactly. Mm.
now the younger generation is much more aware,
Mm.
of things, because pressures are also much more in this generation, because work
Yeah.
pressure and peer
Yeah.
pressure and everything, the pressure to keep up with society, and the pressure to, be there, the fear of being left behind. So the younger generation,
Yeah.
I think, they know much better what all these things are. So I think it's up to the younger generation to step up and
Right.
take that crucial change, and to not encourage negative conversations about this, and
Yes.
to make more and more people around them aware that seeking help is not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, what do
Absolutely.
you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on this. And also at the same time, I would like to add that, you know, seeking help for your mental health condition is very much similar to your health condition. Like, when we have any physical ailments, say, for example, if I'm having congestion, you
Mm,
know, I go to a doctor, which is considered to be something so normal.
mm,
So similarly, mental health is also your health condition. So it has to be
absolutely.
normalized. Like there's nothing wrong about it. Like,
Absolutely. This is
why are we
what
even having second thoughts?
exactly what I consider very strange or ironic is that when you're physically unwell, like you have a fever, you're running a
Hmm.
fever for 2 days, or you have a cough, everyone will say, okay, fine, why don't you go to a doctor? Why do you keep these things, untreated?
Right.
These days, you never know, with fever and cough and all, you never know. But they don't say the same thing for mental health.
Yeah, they don't.
Mental health, you're not supposed to acknowledge mental health. You're not supposed
Hmm.
to say that you're feeling depressed, or low, or that you need help. That you're not supposed to say. That is, you're supposed to deal with it and it'll go away on its own. Physical health,
Yeah.
rush to a doctor, it's fine.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
I mean, that contrast always strikes me. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
in
It
that
hits me
sense,
as
I think
well.
society is hypocritical, no?
Yeah, it
Don't
is.
you think
In a way,
so?
it is. Yes, it is. And I think with conversations like these that we're having today, I think with this only, we can spread awareness and make people more aware and conscious that this is something very normal, and, one shouldn't feel afraid or, have that kind of a hesitation, when it comes to seeking help for their emotional well-being. It's something very normal, and we need to, take a step, and it's not for somebody else, it's for our own self,
And
we need to help ourselves.
sometimes mental health, or seeking help for depression, or seeking help for an emotional, stability, is as simple as having a conversation with a friend, or as simple as
Yes,
having a conversation with somebody senior to you, who knows, who's been through that. It's just,
yes,
it's as simple as having a conversation. Like, if
right,
I'm depressed, and if I say, okay, Varalika, I'm depressed, I need to speak to you, I need you
yes,
to hear me out. It's as
yeah,
simple as that. But even that is not encouraged. you know I mean, even that is considered, and you might need not just one conversation, you might need a few sessions. I
yes,
might have to come to you for, like, say, a whole week,
right,
so that,
right,
because so that you can hear me out. I can speak
yes,
to you, then tomorrow I might feel like coming to you again. So that becomes a
mm,
problem. Why is she going there, and why is she, confiding in people? So that means
mm,
she's not emotionally stable, she doesn't know where. So
mm,
because of that trauma, nobody steps out. Because of that
yes,
that stigma, no one
mm,
wants to acknowledge that they have a problem. So everyone
yes.
just has this fake smile on their face, and they say that, okay, nothing is wrong, I'm okay, I'm fine.
People are living in denial.
Absolutely. People are just, like, no, there's nothing wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with my family, everyone is okay.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise,
everyone's
what would
okay.
you say?
But the
Yeah.
truth is something else altogether.
Truth is completely different, but everyone is
Yeah,
okay and we're all doing fine,
yeah.
and my family is okay, you know. So it's very
I know.
weird the way society functions, but it is what it is, and we need to change it completely.
Yes, in fact, this reminds me, like what you just said, it reminded me of one conversation that I actually had with a therapist on my page, Your Story is Important. She actually said that, in fact, every individual should go for therapy. Like, you don't have to wait that something wrong happens and then you go for therapy. We all have so many things inside us since our childhood that, we need that kind of a release. And if the entire family actually goes for therapy, then just imagine what a beautiful world it might be.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I would agree with the person who said that, because
Yeah,
everyone at some point of time needs counseling, at some point of time needs therapy, because life can get overwhelming, because life is
yeah,
unpredictable. You can't predict what your life will be like tomorrow. Today it's like this, but tomorrow who
right,
knows what it's going to be. So,
right,
and the rat race to keep up, like I said, to keep up with
yeah,
society, and to not miss out on your share of
mm, mm,
whatever. So
mm,
people, that pressure gets to you consciously or unconsciously. You may be aware of it, you may not be aware of it, but that pressure gets to you, and every human being at some point in their lives needs
yes,
counseling, needs therapy, needs that
right,
that emotional space to be themselves, and to
mm,
so
mm,
it's and so it has to be normalized. It is okay. It is okay
yeah,
if you're feeling unwell, if you're feeling emotionally drained, if you're feeling that you need your emotions in one place, you need help. It's okay to seek help. It's fine.
mm, right, right,
Nobody is all powerful and all, think that they can deal with everything by themselves. Man is a social animal, like I said. You have to
right,
seek help, and that's okay. So
yes,
it is, I think in 2022, we need to have, I mean, looking at it, how we need to change is, first of all, it's not just to have conversations, it is to say no to negativity around um,
mm,
emotional well-being and seeking help for
yeah,
depression. I think it is, you have to say no to negative conversations around it, that
yes,
especially the older generation, or somebody who's not very aware of these things, when they make comments about individuals that we like. I know this is something I said before, but again, I'm just reiterating it. We need to step up and say no.
yeah,
No, that's not how you should see it. That is not, you know
mm,
I
right,
suppose, a lot of it is connected to the larger social paradigm also, where, in India especially, I mean, as an Indian, I can speak up for
mm,
India.
yeah,
So
yeah,
in India, you know, the whole concept of, what will other people say, and will it
mm,
affect my daughter's marriage prospects? Will it affect
yes,
my, family's, will it spoil my family's name? Look, we have we as a family, we are very, well known, and we do this. And so if I say that somebody in my family has an emotional problem, or they need help, or they're seeking help, that will affect my family's reputation. So, there's a whole bunch of social, uh, social, what do I say, framework or social
yeah,
paradigms that go behind this, go with this, this stigma attached to seeking help
right,
for emotional. And I think it is time that people came out of it. And I think that youngsters are waking up to this, because they know
yes,
they're going through the same thing themselves. So they know that,
mm,
this is
right,
prevalent, and they know how it's affecting them. So I think,
right,
but we should create groups. I think there is a need to create a
mm,
virtual group out there,
right,
anyone who wishes to seek
mm,
help or guidance for the emotional turbulence that they're going through at that time. There should be
mm,
it should be a free online, virtual group, so anyone anywhere can connect,
right,
and it should be, a forum to ask questions, to get help, to speak to people
mm,
who've been through the same trauma.
yes,
I think there is a need for a forum of that sort, where people,
absolutely,
and you can connect anonymously if you wish to. I mean, if you don't wish to reveal your identity for some reason,
identity,
but
yeah,
it should be
yeah,
a completely non-judgmental forum, not where,
mm,
if somebody suddenly comes on and says, I have a problem, okay, she's from there, okay, let me find out from her family what her problem. No,
yeah,
It should
Hmm.
be completely objective, completely non-judgmental.
Right.
It should be a forum where you feel at peace, you feel happy
Yes.
to
Yeah.
connect and, talk. So what do you say to that? Do you think there should be a forum like that for, you
In
know,
fact, yes, there is something very similar to this that you've been talking about. I think I was also associated with that organization. I think in 2019, it's called You're a Wonderful Project. So that's an organization, which is a free space, and they always say, like, if ever you want to talk, we're always there to listen to you, and it's a free space where people don't judge. And they also have, a group of psychologists, psychiatrists. If you need a medical assistance, they would be there to help you. So yes, but like, I got to know about this in 2019. So that's the thing about awareness. I think it was,
exactly.
and now because through me you got to know about this, right?
Exactly. I didn't know about this at all. So see, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm getting to know about it towards the end of 2021. So I mean, so much for awareness. What is the point of these organizations if nobody knows about them? I mean,
Right.
what's the point? So I mean, I think we need to go out on a much larger scale and make these things aware that look, there are forums,
Right.
where you can connect. So I think we need to do a lot more in 2022 for.
Yes, absolutely. And I think conversations like these only can, help in spreading awareness and, telling people that it's okay to not feel okay. And, it's important to validate your emotions and,
Absolutely.
there's nothing good or bad. It is the way it is supposed to be.
Look at it this way, you need to sort out like if your home gets messy or cluttered or dirty. I mean, it will, homes are like that. You will clean it up, won't you? You won't just let it remain a mess and step over piles of books and
Right.
piles of stuff on the floor. You will clean it up, right? So
Right.
similarly, your mind, it will get cluttered. The human mind will get cluttered because of everything that's happening around. You're not a robot to not be affected by what is happening around. You will be affected. And of course, you have your own life to lead. You have your work, you have your personal life, you have your, so those also bring in pressure. So obviously your mind will be cluttered after a point, and it's up to
Yes.
you to clean up that mess. Otherwise it'll become, from clutter, it will become raving madness. And then, why do you think crimes go up now? Crimes have risen
Yeah.
alarmingly, you know
Yes.
you know the world over. Why? Because individuals are unable to adjust to the society that is around them, social
Right.
expectations. They're unable to
Mm.
keep up. So then they
Mm.
feel the need to do something drastic. So crimes are rising because they're not able to sort themselves out emotionally.
Right. Right.
So I mean, it's not just okay to seek mental help. You have to seek help. I think it is and especially 2022 and going forward, I think everyone must seek help at some point. It's not just, it's no longer an option. I think it's
Yeah.
a point where it's a necessity. You must do it.
Right. And I think like you just raised the issue of crimes, I think that is also related to mental health. Why would somebody do such a thing? Why would someone commit a crime? Because something is certainly wrong, in their mind.
Crimes,
And that
yes.
again takes you back to the concept of mental health. Like that person is not feeling okay, which is why that person took that drastic step of, taking a gun and shooting someone or killing someone. So I think
Exactly.
the whole concept is about mental well-being.
Yeah, because look at it this way. A baby is not born a criminal. A baby is
Right.
born like any other baby, is innocent and new to the world and ready to absorb experiences and all. And at what point does this baby turn into a hardcore or a hardened criminal? Has anyone thought
Right.
about that? And why
Right.
has that happened?
Hmm.
A baby
Because
who
that,
has come into the world in
mm,
exactly the same way that you or I have come into this world, at what
right.
point does that baby or that innocence disappear?
Hmm.
And at what point does that insensitivity or that hardness of the soul happen, so much so that that baby or that person turns into a criminal, with no
Right.
conscience? Or I'm sure that's not something that person wanted ever. But then because they are unable to keep up with social pressures or social expectations or social demands, they are
Mm,
forced to react that way. And in that
absolutely.
sense, I think it's a little scary because anyone can be that way.
Yeah.
if the pressure becomes too much, I'm not saying that everyone will be, but I'm saying that it's
Yeah.
scary because anyone can be driven, pushed to a wall, and anyone can be driven to do drastic things. So it's a
Right.
scary thought, I mean, so that is something everyone needs to think,
Yes.
step
Yes.
back and step
Absolutely.
out of your life for some time and think about other people, and how the human mind can go astray. So you need at some point to pull that back,
Right.
so that awareness. Absolutely, I think 2022 should be the year of change that way.
Yes.
It's not just enough to have a little awareness here and there, or it's
Hmm.
time we progressed from that stage of of people are beginning to be aware of emotional health. No, I think that stage is over. We need to come out of that stage and say that people are stepping up and doing things about emotional health. Emotional health is no longer a problem. I
Yeah.
think we should progress to that level,
Yeah.
and I think we should create awareness about more of these organizations and create more of these organizations also. I mean,
Right. Right.
we can have our own platform, local, at the local level, at the community level, like I
Hmm.
said, an online anonymous platform, or even at the global level. You can, I mean, there's no harm starting another platform, or
Absolutely.
a conversation, or a dinner table conversation kind of thing, where everyone can come together and
Just speak their heart out.
non-judgmental, yeah, and
Yes.
just pour their heart out. I'm sure everyone would
Yeah.
love that, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
I
I
think it's
think
time to take
2022
action.
should be, yeah. 2022 should be the year of change. At some
Yes.
point, someone has to step up and say, look, this is enough. We should do something more.
Right. 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 I totally agree with you on that. And I think with that, we can end the conversation on looking at emotions 2021 as to how we reflected upon emotions, and how each of us dealt with emotions and our well-being, and how do we see 2022 now that we've seen whatever happened in the past 2 years. I think all of us need to come together and work towards better well-being, and not just spread awareness, but now I think it's time to take action and uh, be that transformative change, because I think only
Yes.
through conversations, I think it's not enough. We need to do more, we need to get up and, take stronger action so that, a change happens. And I think with conversations like these, I'm certainly sure that, something will definitely change. At least through this conversation, I felt better. So if
So did
one
I. So
person,
did I.
yeah,
I felt
I
better too.
think
So
two of
that's
us felt better right now, and I'm sure when people listen to our conversation, there would be another impact on their lives as well. So I
absolutely,
think we're
absolutely,
actually taking the
absolutely.
change, through these conversations. So I'm really glad, and I'm so glad we're doing this.
I'm so glad we did this too. I mean,
Yeah,
may this be the beginning of change, or the beginning of
yes,
more enlightened conversations, about the issue. And, let's just hope that
absolutely.
2022 is a brighter place for everyone,
Yes.
in every way. So, yeah.
Yes. So with that, I would like to thank you for, agreeing to do this conversation with me. And also, I was really glad that, you kept on reaching out to me for having many more conversations. So I'm really glad, and I'd like to thank you for that. And
Thank you so much for the
uh,
opportunity. I'm glad to.
yes, so looking forward to many more conversations like these.
Same here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.